How's everybody doing? Good. Well, I think anytime from the first game to the second game, the most we're concerned about as coaches, the most important thing we're concerned about as coaches is how much can we improve? How much can we improve our team? Because as fans, maybe you look at it like, well, we gained this many yards, we did this well on third down, we didn't give up that many points, we scored a lot of points, but as a coach, you look at potential areas of exposure based on things not being done correctly. Whether they were taken advantage of or not really is not what you're concerned about. So even though we were pleased with the intensity that we competed with in the game and did a great job coming out early in the game and establishing a great offensive tempo and settled down on defense and played a little better and got a lot of people to play, got some experience to some young guys at very critical positions, whether it's, punter, kicker, in the secondary, new guys starting right tackle. I mean, you know them all. That's all great, but now the focus needs to be on improving, making progress, seeing areas where there are issues created where you don't do things correctly. And I think that's really what our focus is for this week. We had some outstanding performances. Julio and Trent, we felt, played great. Mark Barron on defense. Chris Jordan did a really good job on special teams, as did Cade Foster, not just in the 4 kicking attempts that he had, field goals or extra points, but did a really good job of kicking off and doing a good job as a coverage guy, on the kickoff. Questions may come up a little bit about Marcel Darius. Let me just tell you where we're at on all that. I said that we would appeal, but when I say things like that, we have to have precedent to appeal. Precedent being some other case, some other circumstance relative to how, penalties are sort of granted. And we don't really feel like we have a good precedent. We feel like, relative to the circumstance, this was pretty fair. There were some other cases that we were looking at, but we really don't have precedent to do it. And, we're always going to protect our players. We're always going to go the extra mile to try to help them, to benefit them. But in this case, we really don't feel like there's precedent to make an appeal. So that issue is really dead. From an injury standpoint, we talked about Courtney Upshaw in terms of his ankle. He's probably going to be out today. We're hopeful that he'll be able to practice tomorrow, even though he'll be out on the field. DJ Fluker, who we didn't feel like he had that serious of an injury after the game, had a little more swelling and a few more problems, so he'll be very limited in practice today and do very little in practice today, but we also feel like he should be able to practice tomorrow. I know you're going to ask me about Mark and Wesley Neighbors, but let me just say this. All right, Mark is going to, both of these guys are sort of in the same boat, but they're both going to start some dry land rehab today. Every rehab and every step of the way when you come back from this has to be evaluated in 12 to 24 hours as to how you react to that. So it's going to be a day-to-day basis as to whether he can take the next step and the next step and the next step. And you can ask me, but I don't know if he'll be able to play in this game. All right, it depends on how he reacts to every day. And nobody really knows how that's going to be. And it would probably be a little bit of a stretch for everything to go perfectly. But that's where it is, and that's all anybody knows right now, so that's all anybody can say. So I'm not making any predictions or any hypothetical situations or whatever. That's just the way it is. So, this is going to be a great matchup of two, really sort of prestige programs. Penn State coming here to visit us, and ESPN and game day and all that's going to make a great atmosphere. Our fans always contribute their part to having a great atmosphere, but one thing when you play Joe Paterno coach teams, which we've had some experience doing, they do a great job of executing. They don't give you much. They really kind of win on effort, toughness, and execution, and discipline. And I don't think this team is any different. They were very impressive, last week in beating Youngstown State. They have established systems on offense, defense, and special teams that their players really understand and do a good job of executing. They have a great runner in Royster, who has been there for several years and probably may end up being the all-time leading rusher in Penn State history. I think they have great size and speed at receiver, probably unique to what we're used to seeing in terms of the size receivers that they have. You can say they have a freshman quarterback playing, but he sure didn't play like a freshman last week. Played extremely well, very poised, good passer, very athletic and accurate. And their defense is very quick. And again, size, good pass rushers at defensive end, explosive, quick guys interior, very fast, instinctive linebackers, and 3 out of 4 starters coming back in the secondary. And special teams wise, they were very impressive with a kickoff return for a touchdown last week and sort of dominated the game in special teams last week. So, this is a good overall, all-around team that doesn't give you much, that we're certainly going to have to bring our A game to be able to do a good job against them.